Hey everybody, I know it's been a while, but I've been a little bit sick over the last few weeks, and I'm still kind of a little bit coughing, just a little bit, but I'll try to get through this cast just for now as much as I possibly can. But yes, I'm still accepting replays, trying to do a little bit more recently, and yeah, I actually spectated this game. And it was actually pretty cool, so I decided to cast it, and I try to forget what happened so I can actually react as if I've been seeing it for the first time. But I will let you guys know that this game was spectated, and if someone spectated by me, and if someone watched this, or one of these two guys played it and sent it in, they would have got star credit because I would have used it. So yeah, just as a note, guys, that's something. There's a lot of great games that happen all the time. Not all of them get sent into me. So just keep your eye out, keep your replay folder open, and yeah, just send in whatever you can. I'll try to be doing more, in the coming weeks. But for now, let's get to the game. So, all right, here we go. This is a ranked 1v1 on Nesthorn, of all places, between the Carbon player in the upper left, NBSLAYER. I think he goes by. I think it's NoobSlayer. Not exactly sure. In the Beta Bomber with a Mako Bomber, and his opponent using a Jesus Gothic Osprey. It is xDarKnightx. I think it's because there's no K, right? So it's xDarKnightx, unless he's doubling up on the K, which I'm not 100% sure. But xDarKnightx XD, the blue player in the bottom right corner, and the game is about to start. Now, Nesthorn meta has, I don't know if you can call it recently, but has kind of shifted toward piling units here and piling units here. Right now we do have NoobSlayer going with a bot spawner opening and randomly dropping an artillery, which will get finished off by xDarKnightx, and NoobSlayer will start to neutralize this outpost. It's not really going to get him that far. I mean, this is the kind of thing that you'll probably better off doing some micro or preventing your opponent from doing any harass, especially if you have units that you've made, especially stocking units like those bot spawners or those that artillery that he dropped that he completely lost just now. So yeah, xDarKnightx a little bit ahead just in terms of credits on the field, because he did lose that bot spawner, or sorry, that artillery, and NoobSlayer trying to get the. I see here at this point, I think he would be better off trying to kill these Gemini. So there is an artillery and a Gemini over here that xDarKnightx has to defend against, and NoobSlayer now finally going to try to finish off at least one of the Gemini, but going way back and forth. xDarKnightx will almost definitely be able to, yes, save it with his heal ability. The creeps are not going to be able to walk in because, but NoobSlayer might get finished off here, and no, gets right back to that factory before he gets killed, and xDarKnightx not able to get that focus and finish, and actually runs out of energy himself, so is in a little bit of danger of getting killed himself. And okay, does get back to his outpost, and lots of creeps coming in for NoobSlayer, but honestly, it's not really doing him anything. Like with all these bot spawners, he really should have been going for mid, just because those bot spawners are going to walk toward the mid. There's only one path on Nesthorn. There's only one place they can go. And right now, xDarKnightx just killing the creeps, which is definitely a waste of time, especially with the amount of bot spawners that NoobSlayer has out on the field, and defending against this harass right now. But will be able to get away, I think, pretty sure. Nope. Okay, I don't know what that was. Did he really try to take that outpost back under his control? That was a little ridiculous. Really not a good move. I mean, he only had 3 creeps, and he was just really desperately trying to take that, take that cheese and make it successful. But yeah, xDarKnightx able to finish him off and get a defense. Moving his tanks over to this forward outpost is going to push him out. A couple of tanks over here I think will get completely rolled over by what xDarKnightx has over here. It's just pure Gemini. No Seekers. Actually, does he even have a? Yes, he does. He has 1 Seeker coming out. It's good to have at least just one, just to deter that mech from doing any, from screwing with your units, distracting their fire, anything like that. And right now, NoobSlayer actually splitting his focus, and his tanks, every single unit over here is just going to be completely slaughtered by these Gemini. Only one is pretty much going to get killed. Maybe this front one here, no. But yeah, NoobSlayer coming back here to find that almost all of his units, actually every single one of his units has been killed. And xDarKnightx finishing off, or not finishing off, running out of energy actually. But he will actually lose a couple of these Gemini in the process of trying to take this mid. However, it will probably net him, net him a positive in the end if he's actually able to take and hold this middle outpost. But will he keep going? I'm not 100% sure if he's actually going to keep going. Yeah, he's not stopping him, not switching him on T. So yeah, NoobSlayer actually now forced to reallocate his units. Does he know that this push has continued? It doesn't really have the units on the field to defend against it, honestly. One Longhorn and two Archies, definitely not enough, especially if the Archies are not already in position, which they don't look like they are. Where are they? I don't even know where he put them, but NBSLAYER might, okay, not going to get killed, but there's very little he can do against this push. Look at all these Gemini and Seekers, so putting 3 Longhorn down might be able to do the job. No, probably not. He really needs more. Now he doesn't have a few more in support, but DarKnight with a lot of really quick micro, putting his Gemini behind the Longhorn, actually being really effective. He might be able to get this neutralization. Will he stop these units? Actually, real and oh, but NBSLAYER almost getting killed himself, and DarKnight real low on health might be finished off here. Needs to land, but does get killed. But his units have won the battle. Oh, and NBSLAYER does get finished off himself. So both mechs off the field, and the units left here to battle it out by themselves. And it does look like the blue units will definitely be able to clear the carbon units over here. Blue units have been able to clear the mid as well, so DarKnight is way ahead, 8-30. So will he actually be able to hold this mid or even take and hold the forward? It does look like he will be able to, because there's quite a lot of units over here. And NBSLAYER, oh man, will he get killed one more time? No, barely getting away there. Very dangerous play. And I don't even want to call that overextension, because it's kind of what he was forced to do. He really desperately needs to get back in this game, especially at such a high upkeep deficit, and barely getting away there. DarKnight not noticing that he had such low health and not getting that finish, but he will be able to take his outpost under his control. Maybe not now, but in the very near future. And there you go, another kill on NBSLAYER. So he will be able to take this outpost with the creeps walking in or coming in. And there you go, already some over here. The 3 bot spawners still alive for NBSLAYER. And yeah, DarKnight already pushing out. Wow, very aggressive. This might actually be able to get the finish if NBSLAYER doesn't put up a defense anytime soon. DarKnight getting really aggressive. And I don't want to call greedy, but getting a little eager. And NBSLAYER definitely saw that push coming, not coming out to defend. He definitely has the fort health to spare should he decide to defend a little bit later, which he obviously is, because there's no way that he's not going to do that. And right now, that Longhorn coming out, DarKnight really just needs to focus on, yeah, this is very good, just rearranging his units. Might want to just do a mass C. If he does a mass C, it'll probably just almost definitely work and be able to kill everything over here. NBSLAYER actually just going to land slash lift off and repeat, rinse and repeat. Going to be able to do a lot of damage actually right next to his fort. He's going to be able to sustain that health, especially because a lot of these Gemini are not focused on, you know, none of them I think are actually on C. I think all of them were on Y, except for maybe one that was weirdly firing at NBSLAYER. I'm not really sure why that happened, but yeah, DarKnight now going for the forward. He has, for the close, has completely lost the forward. And funnily enough, the 3 bot spawners still completely alive. NBSLAYER will be able to defend against this. DarKnight forced to pull back to the mid, and now I think a normal Nesthorn mid to forward fight will begin. No, DarKnight trying to finish off what he can. A couple of random flackers over here will be killed by the Gemini, except for the wandering creeps will be able to distract those Gemini. Will DarKnight be able to even hold the mid? NBSLAYER really aggressively trying to neutralize this outpost, and he will be able to neutralize it, but will he be able to make anything out of it? Very low on health. Will he be able to get back to the forward? Yes! DarKnight not able to get him finished off, and now NBSLAYER is the one trying to finish off DarKnight and might be able to actually do it. No, DarKnight does activate that heal Nova and is able to get his health back and not get finished off by NBSLAYER. But NBSLAYER now sees a lot of Gemini, a lot of you know, potential tanks that he can eat. Oh, but really low on health. DarKnight getting finished off actually, and NBSLAYER now we'll be able to finish off the rest of Gemini over here. The upkeep gap is actually evening. It's 18-22, and right now NBSLAYER could actually clear quite a lot of those units. Needs to point a few of those artillery into the mid while he starts to land and slash, but 2 Seekers in the area. It does get a little bit dangerous. He is already at his ultimate ability, level 7. And now DarKnight has a couple of tanks over here to defend, so he will be okay, and the Archie's not going to really be able to reach that far as long as DarKnight has his tanks intelligently positioned towards the outskirts of that outpost. And NBSLAYER not getting killed, very close though, and bringing a couple of flackers, going to prevent DarKnight from getting that chase and you know, from getting continued scouts on that forward and assessing the situation, which is definitely a good thing for NBSLAYER. But right now might be able to get this outpost neutralized. It won't really get him that far, even if he does, just because there's so many creeps walking in all the time, and actually really low on health. He'll definitely get finished off here. and now it is xDarKnight's opportunity to get something finished off, but NBSLAYER already put a lot of units over here. And 1 Gemini, 1 Seeker, 2 Gemini, 2 Seekers, not going to really be enough to get that much finished off. He might get, okay, he did finish off 1 artillery, getting a 2nd artillery kill, but will it cost him any of his units? It doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like that all of his units will be able to survive. And NBSLAYER now finally coming back to the fight. Oh, random Longhorn not being used. Every single tank that you do not have in the front lines is, you know, that's not necessarily dedicated to defending and holding a location is completely a waste of your units. You know, just, you know, it kind of depends on the situation, but in general, especially in a fight like this, it definitely does matter. It is worth to note, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the game, but xDarKnight doesn't have any artillery in his loadout, which is a little bit interesting to see. No jammer even, I think. Yeah, and you know, it's just funny, like looking at a Nesthorn game, how it's been so classically artillery heavy, but in the, you know, in the latest meta, it's been so tank clumpy just because mid is not that you know, desirable to go for, especially in a 1v1. In a 2v2, it's kind of a different story because you can take mid pretty fast, and NBSLAYER getting finished off, overextending himself one more time to xDarKnight's you know, defenses. And now he will try to get some more units finished off. Gonna land and start to shoot, and will be able to kill Flacker. Gonna kind of split his focus between his tanks and him. I think he should really just support whatever his tanks are shooting at, and barely able to kill that Flacker. And now able to heal up his tanks, but really low on health. Needs to start retreating. NBSLAYER is coming back to the fight now with a couple of artillery in queue. And right now it's 21-24. It's a very even game. xDarKnight does have the income advantage with that middle outpost under his control. NBSLAYER, oh, some artillery down here, which is kind of a common thing, but he does get caught, so xDarKnight will be able to finish off those artillery that he put down. And 2 Seekers, lots of Seekers, yes, against a bomber, so strong against, you know, especially your tanks. If you're not playing, you know, with that many light units, you know, the bomber can easily, oh, and great, you know, dancing right there by xDarKnight and able to finish off NBSLAYER. But yeah, the bomber easily able to out-dance your tanks. Even though the Gemini has fast turret rotation, the bomber generally can do it regardless of the tank type, unless there's so many tanks. So yeah, you got to really evenly spread out your tanks, make sure all your sides are covered, and if they aren't, make sure they're well positioned enough so that the bomber won't really be able to you know, finish off that much. And xDarKnight, oh man, very, very dangerous. Forced the body block for his own tanks, but running out of energy, but is able to pick up his own tanks before running out of energy and getting over that gap. So he won't drop it, and barely getting away there is an NBSLAYER. xDarKnight getting quite a lot of kills. Let's see how many he's got on him so far. He's got 2. Oh, actually, oh no, 5. Sorry, that this is units. This is times died, right? Yeah. So yeah, NBSLAYER dying 6 times and getting killed 5 times by the opponent. So right now, yeah, forced to pull back. You can't really, with artillery pointing in here, you can't really have too many units over here unless you do have that jammer with those, you know, with those healing units in support. And I completely didn't realize, but xDarKnight did not finish off these units that NBSLAYER put down here. However, oh, I think there's a jammer here because it's being affected. Whoa, where is the jammer? Oh, right here. Is it? Where? Anyway, don't know where it is, but either way, sorry guys. But right now, xDarKnight defending against what NBSLAYER is dropping over here. The outpost does get neutralized. A couple creeps walking in, and NBSLAYER might be able to get a lot more units, you know, cleared over here. 25-27, so the upkeep gap is dangerously close. And I say dangerously for xDarKnight just because he was ahead and actually kind of had the game out of lock. If he mass held the units over here, or at least switched in the T and held that forward, this game would probably be his because middle was already pretty much clear by that. Oh, but I didn't even, wow, not even paying attention. xDarKnight already with the Devastator out on the field. NBSLAYER getting killed right now. Oh, barely. And will xDarKnight be able to get this finished? Yeah, barely before NBSLAYER gets back to that forward outpost. So it's 18-27 right now. xDarKnight will be able to get this middle outpost back under his control. And once again, the artillery firing in. Hold on, I'm going to pause it real quick. Where the heck is this jammer? Is it on the low ground? Where is the jammer? Guys, I don't even know where the jammer is. How is it being affected right now? Like this or this has to be under the effect of a jammer, but where is the jammer? I don't know. I can't see any health bars. I don't know where the jammer is. I'm very confused. But either way, let's get this game going one more time. One artillery here, that's a little bit funny to see. It will be easily killed by the stray creeps and whatever units Dark Knight has over there. And now going to be able to neutralize this forward outpost. Lots of infantry, lots of creeps, I'm sorry, walking in. Oh, and a couple random tanks and flakers didn't even catch that, but it's probably not going to really be that detrimental, especially the Devastator sitting over here. NBSLAYER is almost definitely not going to be able to get this killed before Dark Knight comes back to save it. And yeah, there you go. The Devastator is going to be able to kill that right there. And once again, I don't know where the jammer is. I'm sorry, it's just so baffling to me. So strange. But yeah, Dark Knight. I know that I'm just like missing something in my brain right now, and everybody's gonna see that except for me, and I'm gonna get a bunch of comments on the video saying, God, that jammer was right there, the Sonya was right there. It's so obvious. Why couldn't you see it? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me right now. But if you guys can see it, good for you. I'm just completely flabbergasted. I can't even freaking spot that right now. I don't know what's wrong with me. But the Devastator getting repositioned. NBSLAYER real low in health. This will almost be a kill. Almost definitely going to be a kill. And now definitely was a kill. But so now Dark Knight going to be able to reallocate this Devastator. And let's see what he can actually get done with that. That Longhorn will get killed really, really quickly. And that Outpost will get neutralized really, really quickly. 3 Gemini. I'd probably focus on the Longhorn right here. Yeah, and that is actually what Dark Knight is actually doing. NBSLAYER not coming back to the fight quite yet. Dark Knight dancing around that Longhorn, forcing it to not fire at all. And now the Outpost will be neutralized. NBSLAYER gonna just try to kill the Gemini. And yeah, there you go. Neutralized Outpost. 1 Longhorn getting dropped down, but I think it was probably an overall waste because it will get finished off. He might have been better off putting long. Oh, but it did kill the Gemini, so I don't know if that's necessarily an even trade-off, just because he's behind. Each of his units count a lot more than Dark Knight's units do. And the Devastator really low in health, but I don't think NBSLAYER accidentally hitting control. Did you see that, guys? Or at least the V pathing, or sorry, not control, V, yeah. So that was kind of funny. Anyway. Dark Knight. Oh, okay. So a couple of random tanks. Oh no, just the flakers on patrol. NBSLAYER able to take that outpost back under his control, and now Dark Knight finally going to be able to finish off these random stray units over here. Not stray, but you know they're actually quite strategically placed. Dark Knight needs to get that Devastator healed up. Losing that Devastator is huge. He really needs to not lose it. No healing units. Oh, actually, no healing units out on the field, but he does have Tatras in his loadout. But as an Osprey, it's not as important as the normal healing unit for most mechs. NBSLAYER barely getting back to that forward before getting killed. But right now, it is Dark Knight. I'm not exactly 100% sure how to say that, but yeah, Dark Knight way ahead, 35-15, more than a 2-1, and NBSLAYER on the ropes. Will he be able to actually push back at all? Barely getting back to that forward once again, but you know, Dark Knight really hesitant to move out. I think he can actually safely move out all of his units, then micro that Devastator right when his units hit, and he should be fine. He should easily be able to hold the forward. The question is, even if he did that, would he continue to push like he did last time, which he really definitely didn't need to. It was definitely the safer play to hold at that point, but it was more aggressive, and it was definitely more entertaining for me to see. Dark Knight microing this Devastator out very well. NBSLAYER will almost definitely not be able to get that kill. However, the flakers are very dangerous for Dark Knight. He really needs to watch out and not get killed. Especially with the Devastator in his cargo, that would be just devastating for him. And another one actually is already finished in his build queue. NBSLAYER now trying to get the bot spawners completely built out because it is at 16 minutes. So it's really dangerous for Dark Knight now to let this game go on a little bit longer, just because those level 4 creeps are really strong. So okay, yeah, actually completely full bot spawner. And right now, Dark Knight dropping a Devastator in the middle of a bunch of creeps, not really that great of an idea. Devastator is much more well-suited to killing individual units, especially heavy ones. And now NBSLAYER actually just being really aggressive, not allowing Dark Knight to keep that outpost under his control. So that's actually a really great move for him. However, I don't really think he's going to be able to make much progress against these Devastators, and once again, a little bit overextending. Will he be able to survive this? Yes, he will be able to get back to that forward outpost. So again, it's 26. Oh, okay, I didn't even notice, but NBSLAYER has been able to make up the upkeep difference one more time. Lots of units sitting over here, but it's in the normal Nesthorn artillery pointing in fight, which isn't really getting him anywhere, just because of the way Dark Knight is positioning his units. Actually, really low in health, very dangerous. Needs to wait for that heal nova. Oh, but the Devastator really low in health. Dark Knight really needs to keep that alive. It's really dangerous. NBSLAYER might be able to get this kill on the Devastator. Oh god, very dangerous for. Okay, there you go. On the other side of the outpost, where his units can protect it, and the heal nova does go down. Needs to get back to an outpost to heal up and to recharge his energy. For Gemini coming out, he really needs to keep that outpost from being neutralized one more time so he can take it back under his control. And actually, artillery pointing in though, so great play by NBSLAYER. very, very aggressive, and now but forced to pull back. He has pushed out his 2 Longhorn and 4 flak. Oh, sorry, 3 Longhorn, 3 flacker. It's definitely not going to be enough to break what Dark has, but at this point, he didn't really have that much of a choice but to continue being aggressive. However, the long path that these units have to take to get to the mid is just really, really detrimental to this playstyle. And, oh, barely getting back to that forward. So tense, so exciting. Well, not super exciting, but 2 Devastators here to protect for Dark Knight. These units are just going to get completely massacred. NBSLAYER trying to distract them with 1 Longhorn doing some micro, but it's definitely not going to be enough. There are way too many strong units over here, especially the Devastators. Two Devastators out here for Dark Knight. And 2 more Gemini coming out. I'd like to see a few more AA units just because NBSLAYER is so good at this harass. He only has 1 Seeker out on the field right now, I think. Oh, no, 4, but where are the other ones? Where are the other 4? Oh, there's 1 sitting over here, and I think 1 sitting over here, and probably 1 sitting over here. I'm guessing, yes, there you go. But now going to do a Devastator 4 drop, and that's going to be really, really strong. Has definitely set it on Y. Might be able to get this bot spawner killed. NBSLAYER really needs to focus on killing the Devastator and not defending against the bot spawner harass. And I think Dark Knight might actually be able to save this. And faking retreating, and going to be able to keep that Devastator alive for a pretty long time. And just needs to do a little bit more micro. Putting it on the platform, definitely a great move. Just needs to continually micro, doing a lot more damage. And he's going to just, I think Dark Knight's going to be able to go all the way back. Oh, no, he didn't need to go all the way back. But retreat that Devastator. Put it out of position so NBSLAYER can actually get the kill. He's going to be able to come back and save it. Oh, will he even need to? The 4 Gemini are going to do massive amounts of damage, and NBSLAYER not going to be able to get this finish right now. Dark Knight going to be able to heal it up and probably reposition it and make it do a little bit more damage. And no, actually pulling it back, putting it on the platform just so NBSLAYER will be a lot, it'll be a lot harder for him to do anything about it. Trying to block with a flacker, but NBSLAYER this will probably be the end of the game. The Devastator approaching the carbon fort, and the Gemini doing a lot of damage. Devastator pounding away. And NBSLAYER will be able to finally finish off the Devastator, but at this point, it's an easy finish for someone who has mid on Nesthorn and, not only Devastator, but plenty of Gemini on the field. And NBSLAYER needs to wall up his fort at this point because, 1 drop will definitely be able to do it. But even if he walls up, the Devastator pretty much fires over all the tanks that NBSLAYER has in his loadout, except even, I think, including goalie. But Dark Knight at this point can just do some more drops. I'm not really sure why he's not continuing to do drops because that's kind of the, okay, there you go, the Devastator play. Devastator going to be put on probably right on the front door. And really, really dangerous with all those flackers, actually, but he has been able to get it down. It's completely unblockable, except for with the mech, but only one of the cannons is able to be blocked by the mech in 1v1. So I think, oh, and there you go, the 4 Gemini. This is going to be it. This is definitely going to be it. And the Devastator getting repositioned. Dark Knight getting killed, but that does not matter. He has definitely enough tanks to get this finish. And NBSLAYER, Dark Knight calling the GG. NBSLAYER getting finished off by Dark Knight, taking his ranked 1v1 on Nesthorn. Congratulations, Dark Knight XD, for this win over NBSLAYER. NBSLAYER doesn't really, I have no idea how to pronounce it, actually. I don't know, it could be either one of those things, but I'm assuming he's implying NBSLAYER. But yes, anyway, guys, I'm sorry I've been so, I've been a little bit sick over the last few weeks, so sorry I haven't been able to get videos out. I will try to do a little bit more in the coming weeks, in the near future. So definitely get your replays into me and do some casting yourselves, guys. I definitely encourage, in cases like this, if I get sick, I can't do any casts. We need more support. We need more presence on YouTube, on Twitch, on anywhere. So, and like I said before, the next big streamer is not going to be some random YouTuber that decides to pick it up and gets really, really deep into AirMech. You guys are the community. You guys watching. There's no one else. We know the community. It's a small community. It's a very tight-knit community. There's no one else. It's you guys and me, all right? You guys and me, we make up the community. And one of you guys needs to take up, needs to step up. Not necessarily needs to, but, I mean, that's how we're going to grow. So, if you've ever been hesitant about it at all, or, if you've ever thought about doing it, pick up a microphone, try to cast a game, and we'll definitely support you. Don't really know how much else to say, but I will mention that I will update my star requirements, my star earning criteria to allow casted games to count toward earning stars. So, and it doesn't really matter how bad you are. I don't care how bad you are, as long as you do it. All right, guys, and it will be retroactively applied. We'll say that. All right, guys. So this is our UI, and that's game. Send me more replays. See you next time.